It wasn't exactly porn, but trust me, the story is just as insane as you think it is. Okay, listen. So we have this mentally challenged guy in our class, and I made a few videos about him. He's kind of an interesting guy to me, I don't know. The videos I made are talking about how I bonded with him, how I managed to do that. So it's pretty wholesome. But now let me tell you one of the more insane stories about him. So like to give you context, he's not like super dysfunctional. He can hold conversations. They're just not gonna be super like deep or interesting. He is kind of socially isolated and awkward. He doesn't really understand certain concepts. He talks very loud. He barely knows like who he is. Just trust me, he is a bit dysfunctional, but he's not like too deep in it. And so one day we're assigned like a group project basically in our class where we have to do, where there's like basically 3 of us and we have to do, you know, some lab work. But like we're in the class, like we're actively doing it during the class period. And we couldn't really choose groups, so I ended up with one of my best friends and the mentally challenged guy. I'm not really comfortable calling him that anymore, so we're just gonna call him Devin. Okay? Sorry to all the Devins out there. Okay, but we start doing the lab work as usual. We do this every single class. That's what this class is about. And things were going pretty normal, but like this lab work is pretty boring, at least to me. So we have some pretty gnarly conversations while we do it. Specifically me and like my best-ish friend. Devin just kind of like comes along for the ride, but he doesn't really join in too much during the conversations. And so one of these days, look, I don't know how this happened, don't ask me too many questions, but one of these days, we start like joking around, and we arrive at this topic about this video on YouTube, where, I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but there's this cartoon with like a school teacher and some kids, I'm not gonna name it, and this video was like a parody of that, and in the video, the kids were going in, the kids were traveling on a bus inside of the school teacher, if you know what I mean. You know which route they went into. But it's a cartoon, so it's not as crazy as it sounds. It's just like a funny animation parody, whatever. But it is very like sexual, very, you know, out there. It's just a funny video. And like there's literally like shots of the kids in this woman, like full-blown shots. But like all I'm gonna say is like it's not super obvious to anyone like watching from the outside that it's like a weird video, but there are points in the video that are really weird if you know a little bit of what's going on. Like you can see, if you see the screen, you're not immediately gonna know, but if you see the screen twice and you kind of hear a little bit, you're gonna understand and you're not gonna like it. Okay, the reason why I'm saying this is because we started talking about this video, and like I knew about the video, my best friend kind of knew about the guy who made it, but I introduced the video to him and I thought it would be funny for us to watch it in class. So he busts out his phone, searches it up on YouTube, and just starts watching it. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head like, what's the worst that can happen here? Like the teacher, first of all, the video is in a language that we don't speak, that the teacher doesn't speak for sure, so she wouldn't know what's going on in terms of the audio if she hears it, even though we'll be quiet, and if she sees it, that's gonna be bad, but like passable, you know. So we start watching the video, and at the beginning of the video it's pretty normal, but me and my best friend are watching it. Then the scene happens. If you know the video, you know, like the scene where they travel, you know. And after that scene, shit gets crazy, you know, in terms of the video. So we're like covering it up. We're playing it at the lowest volume possible. We don't want anybody to know that we're watching this fucking video, okay? But you know, it's funny. We're laughing. My best friend is completely like shocked. I'm like getting PTSD from watching it previously. Again, not like a horrible video, but just like, it's still a little bit, you know. I'm keeping my distance, again, not gory, but like still bad. So the teacher starts walking by, and we're trying really hard to hide the video. She doesn't see anything. But one thing that we didn't keep in mind, that you probably forgot about as well, is that this is me and my best friend watching this while Devin is sitting right beside us. And again, he doesn't know what's going on. He's barely like a part of the conversation, and we're over here like giggling and like trying to hide the video. So obviously, he asks, you know, what's going on? What are y'all watching? And this is like his favorite thing to ask. He asks about everything, like what is it and what we're talking about. This is the one time that he wasn't supposed to ask. But like it makes sense that he did. Like we were doing some weird stuff, you know. So he asks what it is, and I do my usual thing of like giving him like a short answer. If you haven't seen the other shorts, basically when he tries to join the conversation and like ask about what's going on, most people give him like a super long, extensive answer, and I have a problem with that because I just give him a short answer and he appreciates it much more, and the conversation doesn't get interrupted. That's something that I said in one of my shorts that I made about this person. So I give him a short answer and I'm like ready to move on, but then my fucking best friend starts to like explain everything, and he like, oh my god, he starts out the conversation as if he's gonna like try to like lie about it and like kind of like work around it, but then as the conversation goes on, he doesn't really manage that and he just starts explaining what's going on. So at first he's like, oh, we're just watching like something funny, you know, and then Devin asks like, oh, like what is it, can I see? Oh my god, worst question he can ask. And then my bestie's like, oh, it's just something that's like funny, like it's not really like a big deal. He's trying to like work around it. But then, I don't know at what point he said this, but he just says, you know, it's like super like sexual, the video, it's super sexual, which makes it funny. And he starts explaining like what it is that's like funny about it. He's like, oh, you know, when something like sexual and like so like out there, that like you're not really like laughing because it's funny, you're just like laughing because it's so insane. And I'm like, bro, why? He doesn't even understand any of this. All he hears is the word sexual and like alarms going off in his head. And I'm like, this conversation could have ended minutes ago, like I don't know, seconds ago, when I tried to give him a short answer, but then you had to overcomplicate it, and now we're in the situation where he just has 15 more questions than he had at the beginning. So then Devin says, oh, I really think you guys shouldn't be watching that, which, bless my boy's heart, he's the most wholesome guy ever, and it probably was the right answer for someone in his situation to like say that, even if he wasn't, you know, the way he is. But the thing is, at this point we're dying laughing at the video, me and my bestie, and we're like, we just want to like go about our day. So low-key, we don't stop watching the video, and I think I kind of like managed to swerve the conversation to make it seem like not as bad. I think I like jumped in and said like, you know, it's not as bad as you think, like just don't worry about it, man, like everything's good. So we continue watching the video, we die laughing at it. The teacher doesn't see anything, so that was good. Maybe she did say something, but like there's no way she knew what was going on. And yeah, the conversation basically like dies down. But this isn't the end of the story, nowhere near the end. We continue doing our lab work as normal, like joking around, talking about other things. And this whole time, Devin's being kind of like quiet. And I noticed that and I'm like, yo, what is he thinking right now in his head? Like, I feel so bad for him. What does he think is gonna happen? But I just go along, you know, I go with it. We finish our lab work, the class finishes, everything is normal. I'm still thinking about the situation. I'm like, that was so fucking funny, dude. Like, including the video, including like the part where Devin joined in. He thought we were watching something so insane. And the thing is, my bestie, he's like such like a religious person. He's like so like wholesome and like a virtuous, I guess. So it was funny to watch it with him and then have somebody think, you know, that it's something insane. Probably the reason why he tried to explain it to him. As he was like going along with the explanation, my bestie, I started to realize that like the explanation sounded more like how he explained it to himself in his head, like why it isn't as bad, more so than him wanting to explain it to Devin. That's why he like kind of slipped up and said, you know, some stuff that he wasn't supposed to in the explanation, that just raised the stakes much higher than they needed to be. But it's like, whatever. we continue about our day. Me and my bestie are like now alone. We're kind of just walking. We go outside for like a little break or something. I don't know. I think we had another class. We go for a little break. We sit on a bench. We see Devin coming out. I can't really remember where he was before that. Maybe he was like kind of with us, like behind us. I don't know. Like he just walks out and kind of just comes to the bench with us. We weren't like sitting or anything, but he just stands with us. And you know, we're talking, me and my bestie, and Devin's just kind of there as usual. But then at some point, something happens that I never in a million years saw happening. I'm like walking back right now. Devin nudges my bestie, and from this point we're gonna call him, I don't know, Zane. Why am I thinking of like these sexy ass names? Anyway, we're gonna call him Zane, my bestie, and Devin, you know, the mentally challenged guy. Devin nudges Zane, and I see he's about to say something, and I'm like, he hasn't been talking. He doesn't really talk, you know, in general, but he hasn't been talking at all since the incident. So I'm like, I know it's gonna be something about this. I'm like getting anxiety before he's even like said any word. And I kid you not, Devin looks Zane dead in the eyes and says, "Hey Zane, can you send me the video later?" Zane is like, "Which video?" Devin says, "The video you guys were watching in the class." Bro, what do you mean send the video? You wanted us to stop watching it? And then I'm thinking like, okay, there's no way he wanted like us to stop watching the video in class so we could watch it later. Like in the class, he almost like told the teacher, like he didn't really, he was never gonna do that, but like that's what his reaction was. He was just like shocked by it and like wanted like justice for it, wanted us to stop. So that's what I start thinking. I'm like, surely he just wants the video so that like he can like snitch on us or like check it out to see if it's, you know, that bad. And I'm like, okay, there's no way that he wanted us to send him the video so he could like jack it to the video. No way. No way, this dude's a gooner. And it's like, I can see that kind of, but also not really. He's too innocent, you know. But I'm like, okay, maybe there's like a dark, mysterious truth underneath everything that we know about him. And the thing about it, it was so insane because he looked Zane dead in the eyes. He said what he said, and towards like the end of his sentence, his question, he starts looking at me like I'm about to send him the video. We're like, yeah, bro, we're gonna send you the video. No way that we're ever gonna do that. At least in my head, at the moment, I was like, I'm gonna say yes, but I'm like, I'm just lying. No way I'm sending it to him. But like Zane said, yeah, that he was gonna send the video, and I'm like, are you gonna actually fucking do it? And it's so dangerous. What if he like snitches on us, looks of us as like some fucking terrorists or some shit? What if he like, I don't know. It's not a good idea to do that. I'm not about to send porn. It wasn't really porn, but I'm not about to send porn to a mentally challenged person. So like the conversation ends. Me and Zane are like walking away. Again, Devin maybe is like behind us or something. He kind of like gets left behind a bit, but also like not in like a rude way, you know. We start walking away, and I'm like to Zane, I'm like, dude, do not send him the video. Like there's no way you're gonna send the video. I was thinking like maybe I should say like, oh, are you gonna send the video, like question him. But in my head I'm like, I have to make this like an order. Like I have to force him to not send the video, because it's like, I don't know, I just had a bad feeling about that. And Zane is like, thankfully Zane is like, yeah, I'm not gonna send him the video, bro. Like oh my god. And then he says, you know, I'm gonna send him like some other video that's like similar to it, to the one that we were watching, so that he like doesn't get angry or anything. And I'm thinking like, bro, just don't send him the video. What do you mean similar video? If there's a video that's similar to the one we were watching, first of all, that's fucking insane. Why does that exist? But second of all, how is that video gonna be any better than this one? You know what I mean? Like he's either gonna snitch on us or something insane is gonna happen. Don't send him any video. That's what I tell him. And I'm like, okay, if he asks you, I don't know, ignore the text, just like push him away. Just be like, hey, so like my friends like told me about it and I don't know where the video is anymore, sorry. And the thing is, I'm not thinking about this. I didn't even realize this before I told the story. But what if he did send him a video? I don't think he did. Like, the whole time I was thinking that like Devin never even asked, because like why would you ask over text about that? But like if he did ask, did Zane send him a video? I'm gonna ask him. Here's the thing about Zane, is like the whole like explanation and everything about him so far has made sense, because like he's the type of dude to be like, yeah, I'm gonna like work around this and I'm not gonna say exactly what I need to, but I'm also not gonna lie. Like, again, he's really virtuous, so he doesn't like lying. He doesn't like the idea of lying in his head, but like he also wants to like work around the thing, which makes sense. It's like usual, but the thing about him is he doesn't know how to work around things without like lying. So half the time he ends up straight up lying, half the time he just ends up saying what he's not supposed to say. Like, we've had many situations where that's been like troublesome. So the fact that he revealed that the video was sexual during the explanation made sense, and the fact that maybe he even sent him a video makes sense. And I'm thinking, like, during all of this, I'm like, what is even going on, bro? Like, he wasn't supposed to know about this. What the hell? So yeah, man, a mentally challenged person asked me for porn. I don't know if he wanted to snitch or like judge us. I don't know what's going on. But basically, throughout all of this, I realized, you know, maybe he does want to just goon. There ain't nothing wrong with someone who's mentally challenged having sexual desires, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. But I think the funniest part and the most insane part of the story is that I'm like 60 to 70% sure he didn't want to just watch porn, and he wanted to just like judge us. He's such an innocent person, man. He doesn't even know anything. And over here, he's looking at children going in their teacher's pussy or some shit. Like, hell no. But you know, it is what it is. Shout out my boy Devin.